don't know why you do that. I'm just giving it a minute. Just making sure everything's working. Everything's okay. So just I don't know how this gizmo works. I don't know how this technology works. So did I do it? I know it says 9:30, but yeah. Should be live. I'm supposed to be live. And I don't know. Okay, no. Come on now. What the fuck what am I streaming to? What am I streaming to? How do I work this gizmo? I don't know what's going on here. What do I read? What about now? Am I... Hey! That's me! That's me looking at me looking at... I don't know why you do that. I'm just... Okay. All right. I figured it out. I know. So, welcome everyone. Minute. Shut up. Making sure everything's working. Talking to me. You stop. You stop. No. You're okay. You, however, shut up. The adults are talking now. Welcome. Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended. It is a solo night. My child apparently is on death's door, so, you know, the show must go on, I suppose. That's how things go. Okay. All right. What are we going to be talking about today? So, I think, if you can't tell by the title of the stream, we're going to be talking about the Saskatchewan stabbings and the government failures that have allowed this to happen. Okay? So, we're going to look at... I think that's pretty. I think the title sums it up pretty well. So we'll be looking at how your tax dollars are going to fund the World Economic Forum, and what other things that money was promised to, but it was actually sent somewhere else. Again, we'll be looking into the Saskatchewan, those disgusting, vile human beings. Hopefully, the stream is actually stable. I don't know how this thing works. So let's get out of that. Try and save as much data as I possibly can, because this might be absolutely terrible. I don't know what red means, but normally red when you're streaming means bad. So it might be bad. I don't know. If this is absolute terrible, if this is unusable, it is being saved locally, so it will be re-uploaded. It will be uploaded tonight. You know what? This is where I would say hit that intro, but I don't have any of those macros set up, so let's just get right into it, okay? Okay. So let's start with the question of the day. And I think it's a very contested, it's very controversial to say, do you trust the police? Do you trust them in order to come in and protect you? Do you trust them to come and save you? Do you trust them? So, the reason why I'm asking this question is, you know, our government's job is supposed to be to protect the people from foreign invaders. Their job is supposed to uphold our Charter of Rights and ensure that those rights are not being violated. Why you do this? Why you do this? You're doing this, and I don't like it. So let's start with this first article that we have that actually came from the Counter Signal, and so nearly $3 million have been sent to the World Economic Forum. In fact, if you want an exact number, because I don't want to be fact checked or some kind of number, a little bit off, it's reportedly. $2,915,095 of your hard-earned tax dollars are going to a World Economic Forum, to a world government. That's what your tax dollars are going to. You would think, would you not think, well, Well, what about helping the veterans? You know, the ones that you are now encouraging to off themselves, since I know it's cheaper. So couldn't you send maybe some of that money to maybe helping that? Could you maybe send it to, maybe police? Could you maybe send it to the healthcare system? Could you do something else? Could you maybe could you maybe put it towards, those trees that you said that you were going to plant back in 2015? Could you maybe have done that? Which I think Canada has only planted, I think it's like 10,000 out of the what was it? How many millions were promised? Which everyone, again, Canada is well, it's almost like our government has decided that our views are so controversial within our own country. Of course we want the resources there. Of course we want nature to thrive, and we want to make sure that there are safeguards in place to ensure that, agriculture, economics, nature, all of these things can work in a harmony. See, I don't think that would be a controversial position to have. But you were told and sold these things that, hey, we're going to ensure no reserves have no clean drink, or that, on, a little bit of a Freudian slip. Let's make sure that the boil water advisories that have been standing for 20, 30, 40 years on some places, that problem is dealt with. But no, we've sent $3 billion, if not more, to fight a war in Ukraine, against a proxy war against Russia. That's what we've done. We've forced people into poverty, into abject poverty, while we are funneling money into China to the tune of, if memory serves, about $200 million per year goes to China to develop their country, while our country is hamstrung. When Germany comes over to Canada and says, hey, your nation has so much natural resources, you have some of the largest oil reserves in the world, you could supply the entire world with oil, and you could bring in a golden age of prosperity. And Justin Trudeau says, no. No, we are not going to help you, Germany. We are going to force you into to be subservient to Russia. And I hate to be, I don't want to be that guy that always says, well, you know what, Trump told you so. But what was Trump saying? What was Trump saying at those times? He was talking about, European nations, you need to get off Russian oil because something like this could happen. To be fair, I think I don't see why a country could not be self-sufficient. But a little off to the side. $3 million of your dollars are going to fund your own imprisonment. We have the ArriveCan, which is being sued by many law firms within Canada. You have policies that are directly going against Canadians' interests in order to ensure Canadian prosperity, and it's done completely backwards. Inflation is at a record high. People are taking loans out in order to buy food. People are unsure of where their homes is going to be in the next couple of months. And the government says, tough. Well, you know what? And I'll say, I'll at least give this to Heather Stephenson when she says, hey, can we back off on the carbon tax? And Justin Trudeau says, no. In fact, we have to ramp it up. I know, my hair looks like holy shit. So that is the type of position that the Canadian government has put in place. The Liberal government, and I've said this many times before, in another world, in another lifetime, where the left hasn't gone completely insane, they would be seen. I would see them as compassionate. But I don't think that they are. I really don't think they are. Let's check out this video that was posted on Twitter. And this was from a Army vet. Okay? This is from an Army vet. So just hold on. Let me see if I can figure this shit out. All right. So just check this out.
My name is Brock Blaschuk. I'm a retired corporal with the Princess Patricia Canadian Light Infantry out of here in Edmonton, 1st Battalion. I served in the Canadian Armed Forces for 7 years. I deployed in Afghanistan back in 2009 until April 3rd, where I was obviously severely wounded by a roadside bomb or improvised explosive. As you can see, I've lost my left leg. I have 58% soft tissue loss and 88% nerve damage on my right leg. Back in August 20...
This is someone that has made the ultimate sacrifice. I shouldn't say ultimate, but they were put to task. They were told and demanded by their government to go here, and he says, yes, boss, no question. With the agreement of, I will be compensated. I will be taken care of. Uh-oh, did I break it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, shit. All right, we're good. That I am making this sacrifice and make sure that I am taken care of. My loved ones are taken care of. Where I am fighting on behalf of my country. Where I am spilling blood in the name of my country. Why are you doing this? Why you do this? Why you do this? Why you do this? All right, so let's continue.
August 24th, 2015. You made the promise, and I'll quote it here. No veteran will be forced to fight their own government for the support and compensation they have earned. Yet you are still currently in a legal battle with veterans regarding equal support and compensation to their peers. You have ISIL or ISIS members coming into a reintegration program. You did a backdoor deal with Omar Khadr with not even stepping into the courtroom. Because honestly, Mr. Prime Minister, I was prepared to be injured in the line of duty when I joined the military. Nobody forced me to join the military. I was prepared to be killed in action. What I wasn't prepared for, Mr. Prime Minister, is Canada turning its back on me.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
On a couple of elements you brought up. First of all, why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they're asking for more than we are able to give right now.
We can stop it right there. Okay? They are asking for more than we can provide. That is what the Canadian government, that is what Justin Trudeau, the Liberal government, have said. I'm surprised Mr. Aaron O'Toole, with him being a war veteran as well, would not be arguing for... Oh, it's over there. Sorry, it's backwards. You would assume that he would be arguing for the same things. That we need to ensure that these people that are being asked to do the ultimate task within our country are going to be compensated, and they should be compensated very well. Instead of being told, hey, why don't you just kill yourself? You can do that. Why don't you make another sacrifice? Hey, you want to serve your country? How about you save the taxpayer a couple $1 million so that we don't have to keep you alive? That's been the ultimatum that our soldiers have made, while we fund the World Economic Forum, while we fund our own prison, while we funnel money into our own collapse. That's what we've done. And I find it's insulting, if not at least insulting, it's degrading to people that are actually trying to produce a life for themselves. When the government says, you know what, you haven't suffered enough. If you don't get your COVID shot, well, you only have yourself to blame if you don't. If the lockdowns come back, I don't know what to tell you. I wish things were easier. I wish things were better, but unfortunately, this is the position that we're going to have to take. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So I found this quite interesting and actually quite bothersome. But let's continue with a little bit with the government and I guess to kind of tie into this question of the day of, do you trust the police? Do you think that they are doing their best in order to ensure your safety? And of course, I should note that this is typically a live show Monday to Thursday at 8 o'clock. Things are a little bit haywire. Like I said, my kid's apparently on death's door. I don't think so, but it's a solo show. So our oldest is currently in the hospital. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure he shoved a dildo up his butt or something. I don't know whatever teens do. I don't know. Tide Pods up the ass, butt chugs. I don't know what kids do nowadays. Shoving TikTok dances up their ass. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. Okay, but so I would encourage you, if you're new on Rumble, if you were on Rumble and if you were subscribed to us before, we did end up closing our Rumble channel, but our account is still here. So I encourage you, hit the Rumble button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. That's about all I got. I know we don't have all the flashy, all the banners and all that stuff. The old ball and chain takes care of that, but it's the boys' night, and we're going raw. We're going raw. So let's shift gears into this story. Miles Sanderson, a name that will live in infamy along with his piece of shit brother. The dynamic duo that has terrorized the community in Saskatchewan. To an extent, I hold them accountable. Of course I do. But at the same point, Miles Sanderson had a rap sheet wider or deeper than my arm is long. He had 59 criminal convictions as an adult. The dude was 31 years old. So in his 13 short years as an adult, he had 59 criminal convictions in that time. Things that were things like aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, assault causing bodily harm, simple assault, assaulting a police officer where he stomped on the officer's head, threatening mischief, resisting arrest, and obstruction, as well as drug and alcohol offenses. An upstanding citizen within Canada. An absolute model that I think anyone with half a brain would value to actually try and emulate. These dirtbags, these losers, have killed now 11 people, injured 18. Those are the last numbers that I've seen. But what has Canada done? They were released from parole, that they were seen as outstanding, and that they were fit to seek rehabilitation after 59 convicted crimes. The parole board felt it necessary and felt confident in them being able to be reintegrated within Canadian society. Right. So the board, I have a quote from them here. So it's the board's opinion that you will not present an undue risk to society if released on statutory release, and that your release will contribute to the protection of society by facilitating your reintegration to society as a law-abiding citizen. This was the Parole Board of Canada. This was from February of last year. Let that really sink in. Where we have decriminalizing being severely intoxicated, violent offenses, violent crimes are being lessened. And of course, anything I do talk about, or typically we talk about on here, everything will be listed in the description in the description box below. I encourage you, go look at this for yourself. Check out the information. And seek more information on your own. We try to make all our sources available. I'm not hiding anything. So let's look at this one way. everyone talks about how the U.S. is violent crimes, is a vile, gun-riddled, mass shooting shithole. But what about when those that are in charge and those that are supposed to be capable or are supposed to have the expertise in order to prevent this can't? So the government has created a scenario where victims, you're a perpetual victim. You are incapable of actually defending yourself. You can't use pepper spray. You can't use mace, non-lethal force, non-lethal deterrence at least. Where the recommendation for women if you're going to be raped is, why don't you try puking and vomiting? Or vomiting and trying to shit yourself in order to deter a would-be attacker. That's what our government has the suggestion for women to defend themselves. And dare I say, for anyone to defend themselves. The government has criminalized self-protection. They have made it easy for any violent criminals to seek out and terrorize people. I hope that one guy that was found dead, I hope someone actually said, you know what, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm not going to be terrorized by these degenerates, and do something. So Justin Trudeau said it best. So why don't we just hear from senior blackface himself?
You can't use a gun for self-protection in Canada. That's not a right that you have in the Constitution or anywhere else. If you try and buy a gun and say it's for self-protection, no, you don't get that. You get it for hunting. You can get it for sport shooting. You can take it to the range. No problem, as long as you go through our rigorous background checks. But there's a difference around the culture. And one of the things that we're seeing with the debate in the States is you get more and more of the American-style, right to carry, self-defense arguments filtering up through the usual more right-wing communications channels.
Yeah.
Okay. So that came from Justin Trudeau himself. Ooh, no, don't. You're not allowed to look at that. Look away. Creep. Freaking perverts. Stop looking at my stuff. So he has made it clear that you do not have a right to self-protection. So I was looking at statistics, and I think we brought this up before on this show. Actually, in fact, I'm quite confident that we have, and we have had to cite this many, many times. So we have this article from the Chicago Tribune. Chicago, some of the strictest gun laws in North America, if not the strictest gun laws in North America. When they are saying out of 97 countries, the U.S. rates 64th for mass shootings. 64th. But they're considered the worst. No one talks about in France, in Norway, in a lot of these European countries that tote themselves and say, look at these gun-crazy Americans, saying, well, we don't have these problems. No, you have grenade attacks. You have acid attacks. Where the police are having to use their vehicles in order to run somebody over. Or they just beat the shit out of them with their funny-looking hats and their little dildo batons. So you kind of had this, not really even a juxtaposition, but you have one side saying, well, we don't have people mass killing people with guns. No, but you have people using grenades, using bombs. So if someone is going to kill somebody, they're going to find a way. I don't care. They'll take a plastic knife. They will find, if they want to kill somebody, if somebody wants to cause harm to another person, they will find a way to do it. Can you just stay? Is this a thing you do? Can you do that? We're good. They will find a way to hurt someone. They will find a way to cause destruction to other people. And I don't think that this is a controversial statement of, hey, don't. But it's weird because we kind of have this weird thing where we say, hey, as long as you don't hurt me, I don't hurt you. And it's kind of like a communal trust that we have with each other. That if I go to a coffee shop, there's kind of the expectations, kind of the social cohesion that I'm not expecting someone to come up and shank me. Right? But what if someone says, I want to, and I will? Well, I don't have that ability to defend myself. I have to try and run and let the police take care of it. Well, Uvalde has shown that fantastically what happens when those that were sworn to protect don't. I don't even need to bring up a U.S. example. I could bring up a Canadian one just fine. Nova Scotia. The police knew about him. They had multiple reports of him. They knew he had illegal guns. They knew he had a cop car. They knew all of these things. But again, it's weird that he was getting paid out to the sum of, was it $425,000 from a federal bank account in order to what? Was he an informant? Was he a plant? Was he set up? Was he someone that was drugged, addled, out of their mind and said, you know what, today's the day I pull the trigger. Today's the day. Gun legislation? Well, riddle him, get him hooked on meth, get him hooked on something so that, you know, like a Charles Manson, Operation, what was that, Midnight Climax? That type of stuff? Is that what it was? So the government, regardless, so Nova Scotia being talked about. Well, here we have. Well, what about assault knives now? So the police had this information. The Parole Board of Canada knew this person had a very lengthy criminal history, and they said, you know what, let him loose. But peaceful protesters, we will take the proverbial, not even proverbial, we will take the boot to the face of anyone who seems to defy us. Is that not a wake-up call to anyone? And we've looked at this statistic before, and we've talked about 98% of mass shootings take place where? In gun-free zones. Because they're not looking to go out like Doc Holliday at the OK Corral. They're looking for victims. Where that gunman in Nova Scotia paraded around for 24 hours shooting who he pleased. Well, these people are terrorizing their community, stabbing and dismembering who they please. Fortunately, one's dead. I only pray. In fact, I don't even pray. I'm not a religious person, but I can only hope that this next person is actually found and is strung up by his nuts. So we have 98% of mass shootings are within gun-free zones. So this continue with the Chicago Tribune. Well, you have the left on one side is saying, well, we need to defund the police. The liberal government was saying, well, we need to rethink policing. They're too dangerous. So then which one is it? I can't defend myself. I have no right to be able to actually protect myself, my life, my property, or my family. Or, even more so, my community. I can't do that. But cops are systemically racist, and we need to treat the racism that has bred within the police ranks. So we need to defund them. All cops are bastards. ACAB. So we've you kind of put yourself in a real weird position. So cops are bad, according to, that we need to rethink policing, that we need to take this all apart, deconstruct it. But then I'm supposed to trust those same people that are supposedly racist, the ones that want to kill minorities. Like, there's nothing that doesn't get a cop more happy when they see a minority behind a wheel. And they long for the days of George Floyd. Is that it? What type of position are you trying to put people in? You have seen so many times this was according to the FBI, since everyone uses the states, between 500,000 and 3 million. 3 million defensive uses of guns are done in the U.S. each year. Let's even take that. Let's say the lowest side, 500,000 defensive uses of a gun per year. But if it saves one life, right? That's what we were told. We were told that if we're to lock down within Canada, well, we need to save people. If it saves one life, well, what about 500,000? On the low end, that's the low estimate of 500,000. These people that are in this John Smith Cree Nation, they don't have a fucking snowball's chance in hell. If they're supposed to be protecting their community, well, they can't. The RCMP just say, hey, you know what? Lock in your doors. Don't let them in. Okay, but the government has now created this position where these are victims waiting to be victimized. Do you hear how psychotic that is? That's like having chickens in a hen house and you releasing the fox outside the door saying, well, we'll deal with the fox eventually. Well, what happens when the fox gets in? What happens when these crazy people come into your house? Phone the police? Well, I've said it many times and I'll say it a million times more. When seconds matter, the police are minutes away. But we banned guns within Canada. Okay, well, how is that stopped? I get notifications on my phone every single day. Well, another gun shooting in Peterborough, another gun shooting in Toronto, another gun shooting in Surrey. But I thought you banned guns. I thought you banned handguns. Like, don't you can't tell them. Hold on. You're not telling me that criminals can't. Are you saying criminals are dyslexic? Are you saying that criminals are dyslexic? Like they see a sign that says, or a law, they see a piece of paper that says, hey, guns are big bad. You're not allowed to have guns because they're big and scary. They go, perfect. The week that this gun buyback legislation was pushed through at the start of COVID, there was a mass shooting in Toronto at a convenience store. I think it was like 7 people got shot. But so hold on. So if criminals break laws, right? Like, is that a reasonable statement to make? Criminals break laws. So the government needs to put more laws in place in order for those criminals to break more laws, but it has no impact on them. Am I understanding this right? Because that seems quite contradictory. They don't care. They don't care about a magazine limit. They just go, oh, 5 shots? Well, most people, they take 9 shots to hit a fucking target anyway, so you know what? That's all we got to worry about. After 5, they're done. So I'll reiterate. Out of 97 countries, the U.S. is ranked 64th. If you want to look at major European places, so such as Norway, Finland, France, Switzerland, and Russia, all have at least 25% higher per capita murder from mass public shootings. 98% of those are done within school-free zones. Or school-free zones? No, I wish. I'm pretty sure they target schools on purpose. 98% mass shootings are done within gun-free zones. So the trend hasn't changed. So you've created more victims. You've created a situation that people are unable to protect themselves, even with a non-lethal force. Taser, bear spray, mace, something, OC spray, something. Something to give someone that's a victim a fighting chance. A victim, a would-be victim. And I've said this many, many times. I would rather read a headline that says, would-be victim stops would-be rapist. Brought this up many times. I would rather read that headline than 11 people stabbed to death and 18 other injured, 3 in critical condition, and a 13-year-old boy watched his mother and his brother get stabbed to death. I would rather read that. I would rather, John Smith, Cree Nation, blasted these motherfuckers. That's what I would rather see. But yet, somehow that is a controversial statement. That is something lunacy. Well, the police are saying, hey, if anyone has any information, isn't that your job? Shouldn't you have the information? Oh, because someone suddenly says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not interested anymore. I'm not interested in taking part in this. So the government has put you in a position where defending yourself is considered bad. You have no opportunity to protect yourself. Stay there, or I will ream you out. And this is something that's actually quite terrifying to me. So, again, I would love to leave your comments in the section below. I would like to see what people think about that. But I think we should be back to normal tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just work here. But I appreciate everyone that has decided to tune in. Again, hit that Rumble button if you're on Rumble. On Rumble, you can check us out on Rumble, 8 o'clock, typically every night. We're on YouTube until we get kicked off. We did get banned on Twitter for telling people what the government does, that they would rather kill you than actually try and seek help. So that's kind of cool. I like that. But I think with that, let's get Kim, hit that outro button. All right, goodbye.